Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1997 National Australia Bank Ethnic Business Awards. Would you please make welcome your host for the night, Mary Costa-Ketis.
Good evening, I'm Mary Costa-Ketis. Welcome to the National Australia Bank's 10th Ethnic Business Awards. And what a magnificent opening. That was Batuki Rio, the Bulgarian Women's Choir and Ate Canela. Tonight we celebrate the achievements of a select group who have left their native homeland and embraced a new way of life in Australia. The finalists in the Ethnic Business Awards have not just integrated into our culture, all of them have enhanced our economy through their skills in business. Tonight we also celebrate the 10th anniversary of the National Australia Bank's Ethnic Business Awards, a testimony to the rigour of our multicultural community. During the night we'll bring you some of the faces and moments which have made the Ethnic Business Awards a celebrated event throughout Australia. We'll meet all the state finalists and announce the national winners in the two categories of manufacturing and non-manufacturing, along with a special recognition award for small business. These awards have always had the support of the federal government, which tonight is represented by the Minister for Immigration and Multicultural Affairs, the Honourable Philip Ruddock. And of course, the National Australia Bank has provided a decade of recognition to the contribution of migrants in Australia. Would you please welcome the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National, Don Argus.
Pleasure to be with you again. Tonight we welcome the Honourable Philip Ruddock, earlier that Mary introduced. Philip's representing the Prime Minister tonight. We also have Senator Bolkus and his wife, and we also have Mrs Ruddock, of course. Welcome. We have Nick's representing Kim Beazley, which is important at this function. We're glad you're with us. We also have other distinguished guests, and welcome to you and welcome to everyone here. It's now 10 years since National Australia Bank helped launch the first Ethnic Business Awards. Since then, the awards have given the bank the opportunity to recognise the achievements of scores of migrant-owned and managed businesses of all kind. It has also been a unique opportunity to meet many fine Australians from all walks of life. I believe that Australia is a far richer country as a result of the contributions that have been made and are being made by migrant business enterprises. We are richer for the wealth they add to our economy and, in many instances, for the valuable exports they generate. We are richer for the jobs they provide for the hundreds of thousands of Australians. We are richer for the skills and entrepreneurial flair they have brought to our shores. We are richer for the social and cultural diversity they represent. As on previous occasions, tonight's finalists epitomise this diversity in terms both the nature of their businesses and their places of birth. But along with their predecessors, they share some important qualities: their energy, their enthusiasm and their courage. I wish them all luck. Speaking on behalf of the National Australia Bank and personally, it is a privilege to present tonight's awards. Of course, there would be no winner of these awards without the good sense and wisdom of the judges who select them. And I take this opportunity to thank this year's judging panel, Sir Nicholas Shahady. We have Eve. We have King Fong. We have Eve Cristani. Carla Zampatti is also one of our judges, but unfortunately is unable to be with us tonight. Given the calibre of this year's finalists, I'm sure they have had a tough job. Indeed, I'd like to thank all of the people who have contributed to the success of the National's Ethnic Business Awards. One of those people was John Saunders, who was a national judge of these awards from their inception, and a wonderful example in his own right of what migrant business people have contributed to this country, and it's with regret that I note John's recent passing. It is also with regret that I mention the death of the former Minister of the House of Representatives, Roger Shipton. Roger was one of the judges of this year's awards, in which capacity he was able to draw on his knowledge of the migrant contribution to Australia, gained as a result of his long career in public life. We are poorer for the passing of the people such as John Saunders and Roger Shipton, but better for having known them and worked with them. In conclusion, it's easy to become despondent about, I suppose, the future of Australia and about our failure to grasp, I suppose, economic and political opportunities. But whenever I'm tempted to feel that way, I remind myself of the businesses I've been associated with and the wonderful people I've met through the Ethnic Business Awards. I'm immediately encouraged and heartened. The people we will be acknowledging tonight are a fine example of all Australians. Let us hope we have the good sense to learn from them. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. It's now time to take a look at our finalists. Firstly, in the category of manufacturing, our state finalist from Western Australia. Wally Maliunas established his own company, Coromal Caravans, in 1977 when he lost his job after the demise of the caravan company he was working for. Despite a lot of stiff competition, Wally's company now has 21 national dealerships and is the second largest manufacturer of caravans in Australia.
I'm Wally Maliunas. This is my company, Coromal Caravans. I've been building caravans for 40 years and I ship my caravans all around Australia.
Coromal is the top caravan manufacturer in Western Australia and number 2 nationally. But that success didn't come easily.
It was very, very tough. You had to work many, many hours to succeed in the business.
Unlike most caravan manufacturers, Coromal makes almost every part of the caravan from the chassis up. Wally Maliunas, who was born in Lithuania and came to Australia when he was 10, is keen to share his success with his staff and his wife Coral.
She was there when I needed her.
And she stayed with you through thick and thin?
Yes, yes.
Coromal is a real family affair with husbands and wives, fathers and sons. Some workers have been with Wally since day one.
Some been 18 years, 19 years, even some up to 20 years working for Coromal Caravans. I must be a good boss.
This is where Wally loves to be, on the production line, ensuring that standards are maintained.
You have to remove the door and see if you can ease that screw out a little
And
bit.
this is his latest model, just released. How do you rate your product against your competitors?
Number 1, the best. And I keep on trying to succeed the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, the finalist of the Western Australian manufacturing category, Wally Maliunas. And now to the category of non-manufacturing. When Patria Jeffries took maternity leave, she thought she'd help her friend Phil May turn his small wholesale coffee bean roasting business into something more. A few months later, Dome Coffees Australia was born. The extraordinary success of Dome's retail operation soon provided an option for franchising. In 1990, the company employed just 2 people. Dome currently has 31 outlets throughout the world and employs more than 600 staff, with expansion projected into Indonesia and the Middle East.
Hi, I'm Patria Jaffries with Dome Coffees Australia. The company has been around for 8 years now, and our vision is to be internationally recognised as the best coffee roaster in the world.
Dome Coffee's national headquarters in Perth was the original brewery for Matilda Bay beer, and Patria Jaffries was closely involved in its establishment and marketing success. The brewery has now shifted, but Patria has stayed put. In 1990, she moved from hops to coffee with friend and colleague Phil May.
Phil and I put our heads together. I brought my marketing expertise, and we created a brand. And the brand is Dome.
Dome imports and roasts some of the finest coffees from around the world, supplying cafes and restaurants Australia-wide. It's also a retail business with more than 30 franchise cafes in Australia and Asia.
We both had a dream, and I think our dream is coming true.
When you first took that vision to your local bank manager, what was the reaction?
I think he laughed. He thought it was a bit of a joke that we could make good money out of coffee.
American-born Patria says her father inspired her with the catch cry, "Make a difference."
The end result for Patria Jaffries is I've changed the drinking habits of two industries in this country, beer and coffee.
Please welcome to the stage Patria Jaffries from Dome Coffees Australia, finalist in the WA non-manufacturing segment. Kingston Estate Wines in South Australia is one of the great success stories of the Australian wine industry in the 1990s. When Sarantos Muller-Adelis and his wife purchased a small fruit property near the town of Kingston-on-Murray in 1962, Sarantos quickly earned a reputation as one of the best grape producers in the Riverland. Today, Kingston Estate Wines produces more than 13 million litres of wine for the Australian and export markets.
I'm Bill Muller-Adelis, and this is my father Sarantos and my mother Constantina. 35 years ago they established this vineyard here at Kingston-on-Murray, and after a lot of hard work we're now amongst the 12 largest wine producers in Australia.
Sarantos Muller-Adelis arrived in Australia from Greece 43 years ago after borrowing the money for his fare and with all his belongings in one solitary kit bag. While working as a grape picker in the South Australian Riverland, he met and married Constantina, herself a recent immigrant from Greece.
The commitment and the tenacity that they've shown, both of them, in terms of fighting their way through adversity and actually coming through with great results. And it's that commitment and that tenacity which really has built this business.
After battling local indifference to their Kingston Estate wines, Sarantos and his son Bill came up with a bold plan to tackle the tough international markets. It was a gamble that paid off handsomely.
It's beautiful, Bill.
We expect to export over $12 million worth of wine this year, and our total sales will exceed $20 million.
And this is Kingston Estate's latest release, a soft-press Chardonnay fittingly named Sarantos.
The finalist in the South Australian and Northern Territory manufacturing category, Sarantos Muller-Adelis. And now to the non-manufacturing division in South Australia and the Northern Territory. In 1951, John and Nick Chapley first went into business when they purchased a rundown cafe in the small New South Wales town of Mooloomain. Following a series of successful retail ventures in Victoria subsequently, the brothers Chapley moved to South Australia, where they became the sole meat suppliers to South Australian Target supermarkets. In the mid-80s, the Chapleys were approached by the Manopara District Council to develop a shopping centre. Stage 1 commenced in 1994 with the shopping centre accommodating 2 large supermarkets, a department store and 44 specialty shops.
My name is John Chapley.
And I'm Nick Chapley. We have been together in business all our lives, about 47 years. We own the Monapara Shopping City complex, and also our family also authorized the Monapara Foodland.
A reminder of the early days as two young Greek brothers set about building a new life in Australia. And this is their crowning achievement to date, Monapara Shopping City. As well as owning the complex, John and Nick Chapley operate the Monapara Foodland, which has one of the highest turnovers of any supermarket in South Australia.
It's not luck. I think it's hard work, experience, and the most important is to respect your staff and to respect your customers. That's the main thing. The
Chapley brothers take a hands-on approach to running the supermarket, and in this store, the customer is always right.
You ask yourself, if I was the customer, would I eat this product? If the answer is yes, then sell it. If the answer is no, don't sell it. Throw it in the bin.
John and Nick's families are also actively involved in the business and helping to plan the next stage of the shopping complex, which will include a supermarket in direct competition to their own Foodland.
To keep us honest.
The finalists in the non-manufacturing category in South Australia and the Northern Territory, John and Nick Chapley. When we cross hands, when we're shaking hands, we say in Greek, someone's going to get married. In the 10 years of these awards, we've met some wonderful characters. Tonight, we look at some lasting memories as we recall the winners of years gone by.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You've been content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. Only a face without a name. I never once heard you complain. Beneath my wings.
Argentinian-born Emilio Dell'Orso is responsible for introducing the concept of fresh pizza bases into Australian supermarkets. Trading as Don Emilio's Fresh Foods, the company now operates from a modern 3,000 square metre plant capable of producing up to 20 million units per year. Recently, the company appointed an agent for the Southeast Asian export market, and early indications of sales are extremely encouraging. According to Emilio Dell'Orso, the secret to success includes a commitment to ongoing research and development, excellent customer service, and the use of the finest ingredients to produce fresh and quality products.
My name is Emilio Del Orso, and this is my company, Don Emilio Fresh Food. We make the best pizza base and focaccia bread in Australia and in the world. Don Emilio Fresh Food.
Don Emilio's present-day factory is a far cry from the company's humble beginnings.
I started this in 1990 in my mother garage, single garage in Reservoir. Always with a vision to get to one of the largest companies in Australia.
Loyal and dedicated staff are a vital ingredient in the Don Emilio success story. Emilio says he regards them as part of his extended family.
First of all, we start all my family, me, my mother, then my brother, my sisters, and then slowly, we start employing people. Today we employ 55 people.
Today, Don Emilio's lays claim to being the largest and most reputable fresh pizza and focaccia manufacturer in this country.
I'm very proud, and I'm always say, you can get to anywhere as long as you dedicate.
And Emilio Del Orso is always seeking new challenges.
Vision for the future, and my last dream will be exporting pizza to Italy. That would be my dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome to centre stage the finalist in the manufacturing category for Victoria and Tasmania, Emilio Del Orso. Robert and Wendy Nelson, who had been franchisees for a food outlet in their native Canada, saw the opportunity for a similar concept in Australia. In 1989, Robert and Wendy opened their first bakery-style cafe known as Muffin Break in Queensland. Today, their company, the Foodco Group, has in excess of 140 Muffin Break locations throughout Australasia. Muffin Break's products are prepared on the premises daily, offering customers a freshly baked product. Foodco is looking forward to continued expansion in 1998, with a further 25 sites scheduled to open nationally and 15 internationally.
Hello, I'm Bob Nelson. I'm the founder and managing director of two franchise food concepts here in Australia. They are Muffin Break, which is a bakery cafe concept, and also Jamaica Blue, which is a specialty coffee bar. We thought that muffins would be fairly well accepted. In Canada, they were accepted. In fact, they were probably somewhat considered to be a culture, actually.
First, it was Muffin Break, and then time to add a little cream on top with the specialty coffee bar, Jamaica Blue.
In terms of sales, our system sales, that's the sales at store level, right now we have about $60 million per year. And by the end of this year, we'll probably have about something that'll approach about $80 million.
Would you like a coffee?
I would love one. Would you make me a cappuccino? Short black. Actually, make me a short black. I really like that fact. The interesting thing about Muffin Break is that it's not just muffins. We bake quiches, we bake cookies and things. So there are more. It's more than muffins that we have, and in fact, a big part of our product mix is in fact coffee, cappuccino.
And when you next visit a Muffin Break or Jamaica Blue, don't be surprised if there's something new on the menu.
Product innovation is very, very important to us. We know that in order to keep the system moving, and it's a very, very competitive market we're in order to keep the system moving properly, we have to continually develop new products.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Muffin Break's Robert Nelson. One of the great influences of the diverse ethnic composition of Australia is the effect on our palate. When Arminio Bento started breeding quail, his biggest hurdle was convincing consumers that quail are good to eat. He certainly had an impact, with Arminio's company Game Farm processing up to 60,000 birds per week. The company supplies game birds to major outlets such as Coles, Woolworths, Franklin's, David Jones, as well as major airlines, five-star hotels and restaurants.
Hi, my name is Armânio Bento. I started the game farm in 1975 as a bit of a joke. We are now exporting worldwide and Australia-wide and producing between 50 and 60,000 birds a week.
Portuguese-born Armânio Bento started breeding game birds for his own consumption at his Sydney home, but it soon became obvious he'd need a more suitable environment. In 1975, he and his wife Olivia set up Game Farm Proprietary Limited at Galston, about an hour's drive from Sydney's central business district. Those early days were tough.
4 o'clock, get up, and 11 o'clock going to bed. Because we're doing the process, we're doing the growing, the processing, and the distribution all by myself and my wife and my kids.
Quail represents 80% of total production. Once the eggs are hatched, the birds are raised by contract growers on nearby properties.
I arrived here with 2 suitcases in my hand and a debt of £6,000 to my father.
Armânio now heads a company which is the leading supplier of game birds and game meats in Australia, and with growing markets in the Asia-Pacific region.
My philosophy is what man can think, man can achieve, so there's no end.
Please welcome Game Farm's Armânio Bento. Blinky Bill and Dot the Kangaroo are without doubt Australian animation icons. It's ironic that these two characters were created on celluloid by Polish-born Joram Gross, who on arrival in Australia found it difficult to break into the film industry because of language difficulties. Joram Gross Film Studio has recently signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Village Roadshow to produce 10 animated series over 5 years. The company draws on creative talent from around the world, including artists, editors, musicians and production staff.
Hi, my name is Joram Gross, and here with another 70 artists, we are creating animated cartoons. Dreams for children.
Award-winning director and producer Joram Gross has worked in the film industry in Poland, Israel and Australia for more than 50 years.
50 is hard to believe, the time running so fast, but 50 magnificent, pleasant years.
Polish-born Joram and his wife Sandra established their own film studio soon after they arrived in this country in 1968. They're now the most prolific producers of animation films in Australia, and characters such as Blinky Bill are now enormously popular both here and overseas.
You can have this Blinky Bill talking French, German, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, all languages.
Joram's creative team is drawn from all corners of the globe.
I'm very proud of this fact that there's 29 countries working together, and they are friendly, and they like each other, and they're smiling to each other. Therefore, there's one leg. It seems to me one wooden leg.
At 72, Joram admits he's slowing down just a little, but hopes to be creating dreams for children for many years to come.
Whoops! I think I'm in the wrong production.
If you have nothing to say, don't make films. I believe I have something to say, and this is what I am trying to do.
The award will be collected by Joram's wife, Sandra Gross. Our next state finalist in the category of manufacturing is Fred Ekebol of Ekebol Engineering. Fred developed his own engineering technology of wheel lift pickup of disabled vehicles, a system previously unheard of in Australia. Ekebol Engineering specialises in the manufacture of large heavy-duty recovery units for the salvaging of buses, trucks and semi-trailers. Fred spent the first 8 years in Australia working in a number of jobs, saving capital to start his business in 1978. The company now competes internationally for lucrative export contracts, particularly in China.
Hello, my name is Oliver Ekebol, but everyone called me Fred in Australia. I came here in 1970, and in 1978 I've set my own business. We make recovery vehicles for the towing industry, and we sell all over Australia and overseas.
Fred's love of heavy vehicles began as a child in his native Sweden. During the school holidays, he helped out around his father's car dealership. One day, he hopped into his dad's tow truck, and that was that.
As soon as I got the license, I jumped in his tow truck, and that's where I wanted to be.
On his arrival in Australia, Fred quickly realised there was a market for heavy-duty recovery vehicles.
I started 78 just by myself, a one-man band, and it's been growing since.
Although he led the way with his innovative designs, others quickly followed.
Every backyard in Australia and a few others.
In spite of the competition, especially from American manufacturers, Ekebol Engineering has also established itself internationally. Ekebol makes tough trucks with a tough reputation.
They're rugged, simple, and they last. They don't break. Simple as that. Australia have been good to me, and I'm never going to move back, that's for sure.
Please welcome Fred Ekebol of Ekebol Engineering. Food and wine have featured prominently in tonight's awards, and our last finalist is no exception. Gambaro's restaurant is an institution in Brisbane. Over a 43-year period, Italian-born Michael and Domenico Gambaro have developed a niche seafood market, with their restaurant catering for up to 1,200 people, a far cry from the humble fish and chip shop first opened in 1954. Gambaro's has won 8 American Express Awards for Most Popular Restaurant and Best Seafood Restaurant.
I'm Don Gambaro.
And I'm Michael Gambaro, Dominic's younger brother. We're standing right in the heart of a Gambaro seafood restaurant, the most popular restaurant in Queensland. I even won the awards for that. And not by good luck or bad luck, by sheer of looking after every person that ever walked into the front door of mine.
This personal touch, the ability to make guests feel welcome and important, is one reason for the success of Gambaro's restaurant.
The rich and the poor, the famous, you know, like every film star ever come to town, I get them here. Bob Hope gave me a plug in every state in Australia. Ella Fitzgerald should dedicate a song on me. Now, what more do you want in life?
Another major reason for Gambaro's success is the food. Some of the best and freshest seafood in this country.
You give them rubbish, they'll never come back again. Doesn't matter how cheap it is. Give them quality. Quality was always be the name of the game.
It all began 43 years ago when the Gambaros opened a fish and chip shop, which is still operating. During the late 80s, they constructed a 3-storey restaurant and function centre across the road. The Gambaros call their restaurant the House of Seafood, and both Domenico and Michael have devoted most of their lives to ensuring the best quality and service.
To me, it's been fun and game, and I love every moment of it. And I sincerely mean that.
From Queensland, please welcome Domenico and Michael Gambaro. Just before we continue with tonight's awards, let's pause again to look back at previous winners from the Ethnic Business Awards.
l'amour avec le trémolo, balai pour toujours. Je repars à zéro.
More indelible moments from the archives of the Ethnic Business Awards. I'd now like to welcome to the stage the Minister for Immigration and Multicultural Affairs, Philip Ruddock, who will be presenting tonight's Special Recognition Award.
Well, thank you very much, Mary, and if I can acknowledge my parliamentary colleague and also Don Argus, and commend particularly the National Bank for supporting these magnificent awards. The awards recognise, of course, outstanding contributions that have been made by migrants to business in Australia. The achievements of finalists that we've seen tonight highlight the unparalleled opportunities for those who come with imagination, enthusiasm and energy. Our cultural diversity is, of course, the strength of this nation. Migrants can strive to achieve at any level. It's particularly engaging for me that tonight amongst your finalists is the parent of one of my parliamentary colleagues, Teresa Gambaro, and it's obvious that migrants can achieve at any level in this great country of ours. I'm delighted to offer my congratulations to those who have succeeded so well. Now, we do have the award.
Oh, I'm going.
You're going to ask that.
I'm going to introduce it
Good.
first. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Thank you. And now to the Special Recognition Award. A small business which is growing very quickly thanks to the business acumen of its owner, Malaysian-born Andrew Yeo. The company formulates and blends its own herbicides, fungicides and insecticides, a process which previously occurred offshore, resulting in a loss of income for Australia. Demand by the company's multinational customers has increased rapidly over the past 3 years, and as a result, the company has built new premises which exceed all industry standards. The Special Recognition Award goes to Mastra Corporation.
I'm Andrew Yeo. My company is Mastra Corporation. We are a manufacturer of agrochemicals, mainly serving the multinationals in Australia.
There are a number of unique aspects to Mastra Corporation. To start with, it blends and packages agrochemicals for 5 large multinationals, work previously done overseas. These companies demand the highest standards and the best of service.
I think we can't afford a mistake. I think one mistake is really probably be the end of our business.
Another major achievement has been Mastra's ability to achieve cheaper production costs than Asia. Products from Mastra's Melbourne factory are now being exported to New Zealand and Japan.
The Japanese market, I think, is a very difficult market. I mean, they are very fussy, very meticulous, and I think it's a big breakthrough for the Australian side to be able to satisfy or meet their stringent qualities.
Andrew now has his sights set on Europe, traditionally one of the main suppliers of agrochemical products to this country.
As soon as we go into this more sophisticated equipment, then I think we have a very good chance to break that.
Andrew, who came to Australia from Malaysia as a student, is justifiably proud of his achievements.
We have brought a zero base to a 12 million turnover now. And from a zero workforce to a 50 workforce now. So I think we've done a lot in the last 4 years.
Please welcome Mastra Corporation's Andrew Yeo. Thank you, Minister. In 1996, Larry Hart's new musical Sisterella previewed at the Pasadena Playhouse in Los Angeles to sensational reviews. This up-tempo, fresh take on the classic tale of Cinderella is about to premiere in Melbourne in a few days' time. And tonight we have one of the stars of the show, American-born Chelsea Brown, to perform one of the show-stopping songs, I've Got the Money.
The time for morning and weeping is done. Put the past behind me, 'cause a new day has begun. Well, I'm out of the darkness and I feel the light. Yes, Lord, I see green and it's burning so bright. You held me back, I know it. For years I was your slave. Now I'm gonna go for it. I'm dancing on your grave. I got the money. 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 Anyone that says money can't buy happiness, been shopping in the wrong place and they don't know what to get. Everything comes with money and everybody's got a price. Now I've got your money, honey, I'm gonna celebrate tonight. I got the money. 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 I'm gonna waltzing over Vienna, I'm gonna flying over Bay. Rumba down to Rio, flamenco out in Spain. I'm gonna shout in Acapulco, 'cause I'm dancing on your grave. I got the money. 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 Listen to me, baby. I got the money. I got the money.
ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic performance of a song that's rather appropriate for tonight from the new musical Sisterella. On behalf of the National Australia Bank and the judges of the Ethnic Business Awards, I'd like to congratulate all our state finalists. Your participation in tonight's awards is recognition of your efforts, your hard work, your dedication and the contribution that you've made to our economy. Now to the moment that we've all been waiting for, the announcement of the national winners. First, let's recap the finalists in the category of manufacturing.
In Western Australia, the king of the road, Corrimal Caravans Proprietary Limited, run by Wally Malunas. The pick of the crop from South Australia and the Northern Territory, Sarantos Mulleradalis from Kingston Estate Wines. From wine to food, our Victorian and Tasmanian combined finalist, Don Emilio's Fresh Foods. New South Wales and the ACT, and the man responsible for introducing game birds into our cuisine, Arminio Bento. And our final contender for national winner in the category of manufacturing, from Queensland, Ecobol Engineering.
The winner of each category receives 2 international air tickets courtesy of Singapore Airlines, a crystal trophy and a cheque for $10,000. Don Argus is back with me to announce the winner. Don.
Thanks, Mary. And the national winner of the category of manufacturers is Sarantos Mulleradalis.
Well, what a surprise. On behalf of my father and our whole family, I really would like to sincerely thank Don and the National Bank for your recognition of the contribution that ethnic business has made to Australia. And specifically, I'd like to certainly thank the wonderful team of people that we have at Kingston, the committed group of individuals, 45 in total, that have continued to strive and have continued to commit themselves to further developing the success of our brands, both here and internationally. And either our sales people, our cellar people and our winemaking people, thank you very much for the continued commitment that you've shown to quality and the continued success of the Kingston Estate brand. Once again, thank you very much for the recognition. It's a great honour for us and certainly a moment that we will show treasure for a very, very long time. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to the Mulleradalis family. And finally, let's take another look at our state finalists in the non-manufacturing category vying for the national award.
Whatever your taste, cafe latte, long black or cappuccino, you can't go past our finalists from Western Australia, Dome Coffees. When it comes to developing shopping centres and supermarkets in South Australia and the Northern Territory, we salute John and Nick Chapley. And when you're out and about shopping, why not drop in at a muffin break, a concept developed by our Victorian Tasmanian finalists, Robert and Wendy Nelson. Children around the world just love Blinky Bill, and for that they can thank New South Wales finalist Yoram Gross Film Studios. And in Queensland, taste some of the freshest seafood in the land and catch up with mine hosts, Michael and Domenico Gambaro.
And the winner is Yoram Gross, Film Studios. Sandra is, of course, collecting the prize.
You could guess I'm not Yoram Gross. Yoram is now flying to London to the World Summit of Television, Children Television. I'll take his place in thanking you all, the organisers and the National Bank, for this wonderful evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of tonight's awards. Thank you, Dom, for the Nationals' 10 years of commitment to these awards. A special thank you to our judges and sponsors, Singapore Airlines and Ansett Australia, to our audience here tonight, and to you at home. Thank you for joining us. Good night.